Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about JSON in Python. So what JSON stands for? JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It is a built-in module in Python and it is used for storing and exchanging data. As you all know, in today's world everything is on web. So basically JSON is a very useful for storing data on the web and exchange data to us. So basically it's an important part of the web application. Now we will learn about JSON more. So I have here an example here. First of all, because it's a module, so we have to import JSON. Now, how do you write some JSON? So here you can see that if you want to write JSON, you have to write in double quotes. Here I've mentioned like everything in double quotes, and then finally all that thing in single quotes. So basically, this is a JSON, and you can see it is quite similar to dictionary. So you can understand JSON like dictionary also. Now what we are doing is we are parsing JSON. So parse JSON means convert from JSON to Python. Basically JSON to Python is done by a method known as json.loads. Here you can see that we have defined x and y, we have defined y equals to json.loads x. So json.loads x converts JSON into Python. Now we have written print y and age. So here what is being done is our JSON is already converted into Python. Let me run this and show to you. Okay, so you can see that we have here the result as 30. Now if we write like print y, let's see what happens. You can see that a whole JSON is printed like a dictionary. Okay, so if we do not parse it, then what happens? Then can we print x? Let's see that also. So let's try it and 1 minute. So you can see that this also works, but what is the change here? Here we can see the double quotes, and here is we can see the single quotes. Okay, but what is the main difference? Like here we are doing print y and age, but when if we try to do the same thing here, control, and if I write here x, then it shows us an error that string indices must be integer. You all know that we cannot pass string inside a list or something like that, and it will give us an error because string indices are not allowed. Indices basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, which we define here. So this is the difference between JSON and Python. But when we convert it into Python dictionary, it works. But if we do not convert it, it does not work. So you have to remember that how does it work and what is its function. Now we move to the next part, which is convert from Python to JSON. Like we have seen JSON to Python, now we are going to see Python to JSON. If you have a Python object, you can convert it into JSON by using the json.dumps method. So earlier we have learned json.loads method. Now we are going to see json.dumps method. So similarly, we are creating a Python object dictionary here. And now we are writing the method json.dumps and then printing y. So let me run this. Here you can see that we get the result as correctly and properly. So this is what is Python to JSON. Now what we see is there are different methods in Python, and you can convert Python objects of the following types into JSON strings. So here are the types mentioned, like you can convert into dictionary, list, tuple string, int, float, true, false, none. So there are lots and lots of methods, lots and lots of objects from which you can convert. So here we have, I have an example for you. print json.dumps name, and so what it does is it converts it into dictionary. Now you can see here is a list, and the json.dumps convert into list, and you have all the other example like integer, float, true, false, and none. So these are the main functions in json. So you can try it out by your own and learn how it works. So let me run this and show to you. Okay, so here you can see the result, and this is so simple, like you just have to write and write the method json.dumps, and you can easily get the conversion. Now we are going to see another example. Here we have a dictionary, and we have imported JSON, and what is the method to convert into JSON is json.dumps, and you can see the dictionary here, and we have written the method, and now we have let me run this. So you can see the result. Okay, here is the result. Like we when we are printing y, so we get the result like this. Like this is not properly arranged, and not, how can fetch information from this, and it looks so ugly. So what we can do is we have another, like we have a method inside json.dumps, uh, indent. So indent, you all know that when we shift tuple or some anything like for like space space space, that is known as intent. Basically the space we left while writing a function or while mentioning a class, so we have a space, right? So this is what is indent, and when we indent this information, let me run this. So you can see that now the information is clearly visible. It's like we can easily fetch the information like name, age, married or not, divorced or not, children, pets, cars, and it's quite a readable form. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's quite a readable form, and you can easily get the information through this, and it's quite a simple and looks so clean and neat. So here is another function inside json.dumps of indent. We have another function also, which is a separator. So separators takes basically two parameters, for use dot and a space to separate objects, and a space equals to and a space to separate keys from their values. So equal to separate keys, and separates the object. So if you have so many objects, dot is used to separate objects, and equals to separate the keys from their values. So we are let me run this. Okay, so you can see that here we can earlier the name and colon used to appear, and now it is replaced by equals to, because it separate keys from the values. And earlier we have here we have dot, and earlier we had comma. You can see that here we have comma, and here we have dot. So dot separates different objects. So this is the another parameter which json.dumps takes. You can use, like you can explore this a lot. You can get the material on Google, and so many, there is a whole documentation on it, so you can read that and you can learn more about JSON. So this was all for JSON. Thank you everyone.